Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, here, I was supposed to do a next live yesterday. I did, you know, some follow up and what was going on, and you know, Amber's still not really getting, mainstream media. She's still been covered by big business, and she's still been shielded and protected. And I was thinking when I was watching the case, like, if you notice, the mainstream media was kind of, oh, you know, as Johnny went, like the following day after Ember, people still trying to smear his name and put on a propaganda and mainstream media. Literally, they were saying, oh, we don't know if Johnny should just, Johnny should just not hold, Johnny should just drop, you know, you know, whatever she did to him for the last 6 years and before. So I'm like, so this woman literally ruined this man's life, and then not only mainstream media not holding her accountable, give it up for the new media. All the people out there that's representing new media, give it up for all my independent creators out there that's doing the work, man. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. Don't get no better than new media and independent media. Mainstream media ain't about shit. And it is what it is. So and they was like trying to push. It's like they was trying to get Johnny lawyer. So is Johnny gonna, we don't, and Johnny lawyer then was like, we're not here to discuss that. And I'm in my head, I'm like, Johnny, I love you, but if you don't hold this woman accountable for the damage she did to your life, your family life, and your image, I'm like, it would really be a bad example of uh, innocent, hardworking man that it's like worked his whole life to take over the world, and somebody just come and lie it all down. And then when he proved that the person was lying, society at large said, "Oh well, I know she did try to, literally destroy your whole family, but maybe you should make it slide and don't hold her accountable." It's enough that you prove your name, you clean your name, and it's enough that you're still gonna have people out here that look at you funny. But you know what? You need to just drop everything, even though this person ruined your life. Don't hold them accountable, especially if they just happen to be female. And if this was a man that did this to you, we probably would have been behind you a zillion percent, telling you you need to make sure you take your justice and stand on your justice. But if they just happen to be a woman, then I don't know, Johnny. Maybe you should, just chop it up to the game and said, well, one guy that didn't get ruined by that evil, malicious, envious, devious, deceptionist woman. You should just chop it up to the game instead of holding this person accountable for what they did to you. Deceptionist. So you see, that's what I was looking at. I was like, no, I'm thinking Johnny should hold this woman accountable. Not only should, this woman should continue working, handle her business, and even if she got to take 5 to 6 years to pay him his money back, she needs to get to work. She's lucky she's not being locked up, if you ask me. She should have been, if you ask me, she should have paid Johnny every single money he owe her. He, she owe him, and also been locked up. So she's lucky she's out here walking around being pushed by mainstream media, still being mainstream media darling, still being mainstream media princess after everything she did to this man's life. A lot of mainstream media, if y'all notice, they're not really covering Johnny. And when they talk about Johnny, they mention him and then they try to spin the narrative and push Amber in a better light. So they're not really saying much about Johnny. They kind of saying they mention Johnny name, but then they mention her and try to mention, try to gaslight the American public at large, to still trying to push Amber down her throat, like, like she wasn't the perpetrator here, like she wasn't the predator that destroyed this man life that been struggling with. I'm sure he's been struggling with childhood demons, and he's been struggling just like a lot of hardworking American out here. Some of us do struggle with drugs or do struggle with alcohol. That just make him human. That don't make him perfect. That make him a man with millions, but still struggle through. real trauma like humans do. I'm like, if you're human that never really got to struggle with anything, count your blessings. There are people out here that never struggle with substance, but sometimes go back to them being just strong-minded, or the family they was around, or the company they was around. And sometimes there are people that never really have a trauma childhood growing up. So it's a blessing. All we could do is pray we could have more family that have less kids that grow up with trauma. We could only pray for that. But sometimes you never know what life have to offer. So you got to give it up for that, man. Give it up for put a blessing out there for Johnny and his family and his real friends that stood by his side, and it's all the real fans out here that was willing to look at the evidence and give him a fair trial. Thank y'all. Y'all should give it up to all the real families out here that was willing to look look at the trial and look at the evidence before coming up with your judgments. Thank you to all the beautiful ladies and gentlemen out here, kids, you know, every ethnicity, whatever your whatever ethnicity you is, whatever gender you is, give it up, a round of applause for herself, man. It's a beautiful thing to see, the public at large, the American people, we all come together and work in such a malign way, and we get together and we make it happen. So thank you all, South. Let's see what I have here. I'll share my screen. I need to pick a video here. Yeah, let's see what happened yesterday when they went to court. Fair use, fair use, fair use. I'm just going over, showing my people what happened here. Okay.
IT tools
Gotta
that
get
don't
back
keep
my
up
YouTube.
can make it feel like
Commercials.
Live right now outside of the Fairfax County Courthouse in Fairfax County, Virginia, where Law and Crime Zone and
Fairfax
Jeanette
County,
Levy is with
Virginia.
us. She
Virginia,
was
give it up for
present in the
Virginia in this
courtroom
case,
for the
man. Give
final,
it up for all
perhaps the final hearing in
the
the
great
Johnny Depp
lawyer
Amber Heard defamation suit.
and
And
the
Jeanette, good
jury.
to see you.
Amazing.
So what can you tell us about the conclusion of this case? Walk us through what happened today.
The hearing was pretty brief. Basically, what happened was the discussion about the judgment, and this was kind of a formality. This hearing, and this was for basically the judge, Elaine Bredehoft, the attorney for Amber Heard, asked to file some have some possible.
This is what we've been waiting for, man. This is what we've been waiting. We've been waiting, and I'm happy that Johnny and his people went ahead and finalized what they're supposed to do. I was hoping that Johnny didn't make mainstream media try to gaslight him and tell him what to do after his life and his family life been ruined for the past 6 years. Because it seemed like they was trying to get Johnny. They were trying to make up. Oh yeah, I think Johnny's gonna. No, Johnny needs to hold this woman accountable. This woman needs to be held accountable. This woman needs to be held accountable for what she did to this man. We're not just going to sweep it under the rug like it didn't happen because she accused him and ruined his life and went on a world tour, represent for something she wasn't, getting getting endorsement deal by L'Oreal, getting movie deals, getting big contract in Hollywood to ruin this man's life. And at the same time, this was the same man that was actually out here batting for him and trying to get him some really big roles. But, you know, people are ungrateful and it's sad. The good people that don't deserve it.
Briefing schedule or thing fact, and she Karate said that's not going to be necessary. Elaine Bredehoft made it sound like she might want some type of hearing, and the judge asked Karate, was very no nonsense as usual. Actually, more no nonsense than usual. I don't need a hearing on any of this stuff. I've had this.
Beautiful judge and her staff, man. Give it up. Beautiful judge and her staff. I'm like, this case been going on long enough. Like, there's no reason for no delay or anything. You hold this man his money, pay him his money. Get to work. Get to work. What happened to this man 7 million? You see, once again, this is mainstream media not talking about, nobody asking her in all the interview what she did with Johnny 7 million. Here she is still calling up TMZ, still putting on these charade, popping up in random stores that you never seen her before. You know, nobody asking her what she did with Johnny 7 million. We know she didn't donate Johnny 7 million. They're saying her insurance cover her court costs. What she did with Johnny 7 million. We know, we finalized that Johnny did pay her every single cent of that 7 million. Where is Johnny 7 million? The mainstream media been sitting down with her. Nobody asking her where is the 7 million. Because I was checking when Johnny gave her the 7 million, her network went up to 8 million. I guess they were saying, I guess she had a network of a million before, and Johnny 7 million make it 8 million. So out of nowhere, you know, after the court, I'm not sure what she did with the money, where she moved the money to. After the court, you see the money. When I went back to her, because I went, when the court was going on, I went to her network for the whole court. Not sure if the American people at large was doing this. I went to her network. If anybody have videos, I think I have videos on it, that her network was at 8 million. But I noticed after the court, out of nowhere, her network was saying negative zero point 0.8 million. So I'm like, kind of weird. She had 8 million when the court was going on, and before the court, after the court, her network saying negative zero point 0.8 million. Interested. Where is the 8 million that Johnny gave her? And where is her million and change that she had in her account before? If her insurance company did cover her court costs. That's something we need to know.
Case for 18 months, and we had a sweep trial. So she said, if you have a motion, file the motion. It can be decided on the papers. Elaine Bredehoff was also wanting to address this bond that has to be filed by Amber Heard in order to appeal the case. And so that as well. Well, you use whatever you want, but you have to file 0.35 million plus 6% interest per year. And the judge basically made no bones about it. If
Okay, so here there is trying to actually hold this vermin, this succubus accountable for what she did to this man. You know, yesterday was a good day. It's an amazing thing to see Johnny team hold her accountable and didn't. Because if you notice, this woman's still going out work and she still have a big PR. She still have you know, we're saying she's not supposed, she's trying to pretend to, but she still have some big corporation with millions of dollars backing her and pushing her and still like pushing her and XYZ amount of mainstream media. So she still has some big corporation backing her. So I'm sure, knowing her, you know, she should have money because she still have some big corporation pushing her and not really coming out apologizing to Johnny and Johnny family and friends. No apology, no nothing. They still doubling and tripling down behind her. So that's what we're seeing the public at large. Let's see what this.
if you want to appeal, you have to file that money to do so. So it didn't was ready to maybe concede that point. She wants to address that. The judge really had no time for any that courtroom. I don't know how to quite explain it. She was very to the point, very direct. She basically tells she is done with this case. Ben Chu drafted the judgment, and the judge said, I will be signing this. And there you have it.
No nonsense, straightforward kind of judge. The case been going on long enough. You know, I listened, we proved, and, you know, the judge came up and said this woman was lying. You know, look at all her evidence, we go through all her lies, we comb through her lies piece by piece. The American people at large comb through her lie piece by piece. And now it's time for this woman to pay.
Settlement or anything like that?
And zero. And I didn't anticipate a settlement at all. I didn't anticipate that. Johnny Depp has, in his own view, been through hell. for 6 years.
Thank you.
Okay,
Finally,
we
for
basically
somebody
heard him
saying
say that.
what
I'm
happened.
paraphrasing during
Thank
the
you.
trial. He said he lost nothing
Then
short of
there
everything.
we go.
Why would
Why would
he
he?
believe he was right? The jury in his favor, except on that one count for Amber Heard. So I don't you're hear anything about a settlement.
So it appears that this is going to be moving on to the next stage of the appeal. Who was in the courtroom, Anjanette? I'm assuming Amber Heard was not there. Were there any representatives? Who was in the gallery? Any supporters?
So there were Johnny Depp supporters there.
You know, Johnny people always being, sort of showing up, and it's a beautiful thing to see when you're good people and people could see what you're about, and try to represent you to the fullest. It's a beautiful thing.
I would say maybe fewer than 10 Depp supporters, people that we had met throughout the trial who were here. I was here, obviously, as a news person, another print reporter who was here, so there were probably 3 or 4 media types listening to all of this. But it was pretty brief, a formality. I do want to mention, too, there had been all these people asking whether he would file for an injunction by Amber Heard, since he made what a lot of people view as additional defamation. That did not happen either, and I didn't think it would. Have to be very careful about that type of thing. So
No nonsense, straightforward. We're just here to finalize what we got to finalize and make this woman get to work, and, as I said, start paying Johnny money off. It may take her 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but get to work and start paying. And even with this money, it's not going to get him back everything he lost. It's kind of hard when somebody, maliciously, lying you and double down lying you and triple down lying you and drag you in billions of people's eyes. Scary sight, man. It's a very scary sight.
So that didn't happen. I think that they are just thinking to themselves, we won this case, we're moving on, and you can file your appeal, Amber Heard, and your attorneys. We will answer your documents that you file. We will file answers to that, and that's how they're proceeding.
Do we have any sense about what role Elaine Bredehoff, Camille Vasquez, or Ben should play in the continuation of?
Yes, and fair use, and just going over it, trying to, bring my, greatness wait for nobody, my community. So, yeah, definitely greatness wait for no one. We got to make it happen. I know in life sometimes we're down, we're out, but, we pray, we keep our mind to it, and we keep pushing through the hard times and trying to get to more good times, and keep your circle small, surround yourself by people that actually care about you and love you and your family for you, and that's why greatness wait for no one. We could all be great and be a better brother, a better sister, a better father, a better uncle, better neighbor. Let's strive for that.
That Chu and Vasquez maybe are representing Depp in a different case, but do we have any understanding which these attorneys are going to as process?
Well, they represented him in
I
the
guess
case
they've been
with his
representing
former
Johnny for
business
4.5 years, as far
manager,
as I
Joel
know.
Mandel. And they settled that case. And I was told, basically during this trial, that case had been settled in Johnny Depp's favor. The settlement was confidential. The terms of that settlement couldn't be disclosed, but that Johnny Depp got something out of that. So Brown Rudnick has.
That's a beautiful thing, man. Give it up for Johnny and his family, and for people out here, and for all the real innocent man, woman that been accused and could and actually have evidence to clear your name. We gotta win today. We don't get much of it, but sometimes we do get justice. in the long. Sometimes it's gonna take you a while to get that justice, and sometimes not only take you a while to get that justice, you gotta have money to clear your name. So not only this person is lying and ruining your life, costs you a lot of money to prove that you was innocent all along. A lot of people not looking at all the mental problem that that do to you in the long run. That to know you got to go through so much, shell out so much money just to prove that you was right, just to prove that you was innocent, and it could take years later just to clear your name. Not just years later. The trauma you do to your mind, the trauma you do to your family, the trauma you do to your friends. This is what mainstream media is not talking about. It's not talking about what what does this do to someone and the immediate family and friends that know them. When someone do something malicious, devious, envious, bad mind to them like this, and sit down and laugh and go and interview and pushing your name and everything that you work your whole life for under their feet and stamp on it. You know, you have mainstream media at large that love to push that stuff, especially when it comes to man, unfortunately. So it's sad, man. It's really sad.
For matters that come up. Obviously, Adam, his attorney, his personal attorney, but Brown Rudnick appears to represent him in these other, what I would call other matters.
Now, just walk us through, if you can, what the next steps are. And Elaine Bredehoff might be fighting the motion. Now, if we would appeal, when do we have a sense of what it might be, when she might have to file?
That's what it is. American people, like, you have a little justice there, man. Happy to hear that. Let's see, what else did I have here? Let's go back. What else did I have on my list here? Somebody talking about time. Uh, let's cover this with Planet. How is this?
Years of Amber Heard and Cara Delevingne
Curious.
making out in my elevator downstairs, and holy
have emerged that allegedly show Amber Heard and Lily.
So here we got leaked photos of Amber Heard having her affair sometime in 2016, allegedly. So we already know she was up to no
Rose
good.
Depp's BFF, Cara Delevingne, kissed Vader back in 2016. Images show two women standing in an elevator. Depp shared a penthouse during their marriage. Lily sources close to the young actress say she was with
Amber with her fake love, all her body of lies, all her people that's been behind her that enable her lies, that continue to see what she do to Johnny. But once again, not sure how much of Johnny's an introvert, so I'm not sure how much his real family to be around to know what Amber is really doing to him. Because you have most of Amber people around him. Most of the time, it's him, one of his sister, and his security. But everybody else that's around are there to represent Amber, really. So you have like 100 people, and 10 of them is like him with security and maybe his sister, and the rest of them are there for Amber. So kind of a big circle that he have around trying to please her and trying to keep her happy because she suffer from scared to be alone for whatever reason. And you know, I pray, Johnny put his family more closer to him and put trusted security around him still, and put you know keep his closer friends, hold them tight and thank them to just be there and believe in him, and keep keep his keep his circle very small, and keep away the vampires.
Appeared to have been captured
Give
by
it
a
up for
security
Andy and
camera
Popcorn Planet.
inside the elevator.
Out here
A woman
doing the
resembling
work.
the Aquaman actress appears to place her arm around the shoulder of a man resembling Kara before leaning in for images were taken, meaning the couple may have all.
So that's what Amber out here doing. Just this woman been disrespectful. Not only she's like doing all this crazy stuff to Johnny and taking pictures and coming up with all this fake evidence that she been designing and have Steve having TMZ and speed dial. She was bringing different people when he wasn't home in this man's house. That with his hard work and blood, sweat, and tears, that this money that he paid for, she was just bringing man and woman to have orgies all behind this man when she should be at home being a loving wife, man. This is the kind of Jezebel that we're dealing with. It's unfortunate, but let's listen to a little bit more.
The images were Andy Signore on his show Corn Planet, and the location of the elevator was seemingly confirmed by Amy Goodhart, a Hollywood costume designer and red house. The eyebrows, how she has those like very prominent eyebrows. Levine making out in my elevator downstairs, and holy cow, what the heck is?
Yeah, boss. Amber Heard is always up to no good. But that's what we're dealing with, man. We're dealing with a woman that's, she will stop at anything to ruin anybody that she feel in her way, and she do nothing unless there's something that's in it for her. This is what you call a real opportunist. You know, it's in her soul. She do nothing unless she feel like there's something in it for her, and she pretends she squirm her way into Johnny life. Not sure how she find out some of the stuff, if she was just stalking him to find out some of the stuff he like, or cause she pretends to play this role to squirm her way in. Then when she got there, she wrapped around Johnny's life like she was an anaconda, squeeze everything from his life. Money, blood, sweat, tears, fame, friends, family. She don't care who it was. She was here and she was gonna suck him dry at the end of the day, in all the wrong ways. This is what we're dealing with.
When talking about the images have no date and timestamp, she added, "She in his penthouses. These are Johnny's penthouses that he owned."